So now let's talk about the 1988 internet worm. So there's several interesting things about this internet worm. Probably the main one is that it was one of the first worms that actually got widespread attention. And it got this attention for good reason. So if you remember 1988, the internet was not particularly well known to the general public, and it had a relatively small number of users. And even so, this worm infected an estimated 6,000 machines. And while this is a really tiny number compared to a modern worm or a modern botnet or something like this, but this is a substantial fraction of the number of machines connected to the internet at the time. So the way this worm spread is, it used computers' internet connections to exploit known vulnerabilities in the Unix hosts of the time. Of course, at the time, the existence of a remotely exploitable bug wasn't considered nearly as serious as it would be considered today, because of course the 1988 worm and all of the subsequent ones hadn't happened yet. One of these bugs was a buffer overflow exploit in the Finger Daemon, and this was a service that would run on Unix machines of the time, and the Finger Daemon would let you query a remote machine to learn about whether a user was logged into that machine and some other stuff. And so now let's ask the question, would random testing have changed the outcome? Well, it seems extremely likely not, because these bugs were known at the time. On the other hand, let's ask a little bit different question. Could this bug in Finger Daemon, and lots of other bugs like it, have been found by random testing? And the answer to this question is probably yes. And in fact, if we go back to the original fuzzing paper, one of the bugs that was found was caused by the same programming practice that provided one of the security holes to the internet worm. So basically, even in its original fairly weak form, where fuzzing was done with completely random data, it was finding the kind of bugs that were causing security holes. This remains true to this day, but fuzzers are used to find a lot of exploitable vulnerabilities in hosts that have internet-facing services. So in summary, but it could have found the kind of bugs that the worm exploited, and others like it, had people been running fuzzers a couple of years earlier.